What's up, guys? It's Caliber here,
with the beast.
And I'm Taro.
and today, there's going to be a lot of things in store, but I'm going to do the review of the Pulse that has been long overdue. No, it's been about a week. All right, so it's what it looks like. Everybody's seen it. I showed it in my last video when I actually got it. So it's plastic. It is a very nice plastic box. It's put together really well. Believe Beast, you said it was what, polyurethane?
Yes, it is a polyurethane, which I think is a fan.
No rambling.
I'm not trying to ramble as much as I can, but I have been drinking, so it's a little bit to be desired. We're gonna have a mod mouth like that. So I will say this: it's a polyurethane, um, which doesn't take away from the mod itself. I think the mod itself is actually well put together for being polyurethane. All connections are copper and I think gold
Are
plated
they
as
copper?
well. I think there's some gold plate. It's copper for the actual your actual negative to like the little strap in there.
Oh, yeah, that is copper.
Yep. And your connections are silver, I think, are they not?
Uh,
Let me look at it real quick here. Let me look at my box
no,
here.
the
I think it's
connections are
actually
gold
silver.
plated.
It's gold plated. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's gold
It's
plated.
gold plated. So you got your copper and your actual 510 is on the inside where the connection would be for to your button is actually gold plated as well. Your actual 510 looks like silver. It looks like if you look right here.
Yeah, yeah, that's silver plating.
Exactly, silver plating. So yeah, so basically that's what your design
Which,
would be.
believe it or
You have your
not,
polyurethane.
the Geek Vape Tsunami Mech actually uses a silver plated pin in the switch at the bottom.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's a good design. I'm saying like your box itself is going to be your polyurethane, like he was saying like a minute ago, and then you have your strap right here. Like since mine's a skeleton, you can basically see it right there. You can kind of see it in the back here, right there. It's your copper connection, and that's going to be inside right here. It's going to be in the inside and all that jazz, and then that's going to be into your top part right here, and that's going to be your gold plated right here in that section, and that's going to be into your button. It's going to be your safety button, I like to call it, but it's like I think there's something else they call it. What did they call it?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but it's your button is going to be whatever it is, and then your actual pin is going to be silver plated. You see it
All
right
it
there. I don't
really
know if you can
is a
see that.
momentary switch.
Exactly, your momentary switch, and then you go into your silver plated 510. But go on with your
Which was a very nice touch. He's trying to unmute himself.
I also, I also, I also agree with it. It's a very good design choice. Honestly, like a lot of people will have their gripes about the plastic design. To me, I like it because it's very lightweight.
Yeah.
But you could kind of go on from there. I mean, yes, there is like what you were saying a minute ago. I think the downside is there is a bit of creaking.
Yeah, the creaking is kind of annoying. I don't think I went into that yet, but thank you, Beast.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were wanting that or not.
I
I
can
know
get
that
into
it
it.
is.
Alright, anyways, so moving on to the mods. So, for what you get for it, $50, $50 to $60 price range. It's a very, very, very good box mod. I love the way it's constructed. The neodymium magnets, they're strong. There's literally no rattle though, and that's what I thought was amazing about this. Some other mods, oh, this ain't got no rattle either, but I noticed some mods will have a little bit of rattle, whether it's in the button or the panels clanking, but it's just creaky. There's no rattle. It's a solid mod, and it gets even more solid when you actually put the recommended battery, which is a 2700. 2700 is a big battery. It's like 3 times the size of an 18650, so it's Beast is 3 times my size. It's kind of a comparison like that. So, but let's talk about the batteries real quick. So, I've used this with both 18650 and 2700, and I have to say, when you put the 2700 in here, this mod really comes to life. It really does, and it hits a lot harder. The fact that the the battery, well, this one is an EFES, and it was tested by Battery Mooch. It is a 30 amp battery, which means you can run it a little bit lower. I personally wouldn't do it. I would just stay under the continuous discharge rating. But for that, I have to say this is a very good mod for someone who's wanting to dip their toes in to squonking, as well as getting into unregulateds, whether it be these type of unregulateds or even mechanicals. Which
Like what I did.
Yeah, like what she did. She's slowly dipping her toes in the water, theoretical water. But this is also a good little starter squonk mod. Just because it's easy to work with, it's easy to clean, it's easy to take apart. Downfalls to this, and with it being unregulated, I know you don't have to do that because it's a switch instead of a mechanical button. But there's no way to clean the contacts on here. There's no way to clean the contacts on here, which why would you need to? There's no arcing. The only time you really need to clean contacts is when you get juice in here like I did with the Athena. That's the biggest problem to the Athena, where I think this kind of in some ways outweighs the Athena. Like the Athena is a hard-hitting mod, but if you get juice upon the contact, it starts oxidizing and it turns green, and the connection just, it's not as good. So you have to take out your little bar, you have to clean it down, and so on and so forth. But I will give this mod an 8 out of 10 just because it's an amazing mod. It's not the best, but for a starter, it's right up there. It's got an easy deck to build on, easy to wick. It's the juice well is a little bit weird on it. The RDA, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 just because it's easy to over squonk. So you kind of have to be careful with that. You just really want to give it like maybe 2 pushes and that's it. And not too hard pushes, 2 light pushes like this. And that's usually where it likes it. But let's go ahead and move on. So like I said, the overall mod gets an 8 out of 10. The RDA gets a 7 out of 10. It's a really good setup. Definitely check it out. Alright, so I got some juice over here that I'm been dying to try. And let Beast get started on his Voopoo drag topic he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said about the pulse because I've had 2 pulses in my
Holy shit, this juice is good.
Nice. What is it?
It's nebulous grape stratus fruit.
Nice. Yeah, like I said about the whole, like I was telling him earlier about the pulse situation or the drag situation as well, but it's pulse 80 watt is what we're getting into. The drag itself, the Voopoo drag, which is basically a direct how would I put that? A direct copy or a direct competitor to the
competitor
80 watt pulse. I guess competitor would be the best word for it. I've been really about the whole standby Tony B, and I agree with that fully. I really do. I really think that we should stand by Tony B in the whole respects of it's a wrong decision, but as a consumer, which I think a lot of us are, the drag itself is a good concept, and it sucks that we have to kind of as a consumer, not a reviewer. This is somebody that's talking as a consumer stance. This is not somebody that's talking as a reviewer stance. this talks about as somebody who's like a strict consumer, like anybody who's watching this video, a lot of people are consumers. I think I think that the drag is a fantastic choice because it's an 18650 version of what the squonk was going to be. And although I think that it was dirty what the Vupu did and the constructs of what the business aspect of it all, but as a consumer, it's an 1850 version of what they were going to make up the Splunk version. So if you're looking for something that's 18650 for what the Squonk, like if you don't want like a Squonk, obviously the dual 18650 version is a good option. What they wanted was the gene chip. So a gene chip in the general aspect of what the Squonk would be, I can't see that being a negative. Um, I don't. I agree. Again, I don't agree with what their business practice is. I don't think they. I totally am against what they did with the whole fact of them finding out what the design was, and they went totally almost to a T. They went to basically copy the design. I'm not saying that. I think it's wrong. But as a consumer, for yourself or myself, Caliber here, or anybody who's trying to buy a mod that's a dual 18650 situation, I don't think it's wrong to buy one. Again, I don't agree with their business practice about what they did with the whole Tony V project. They're trying to build a 80-watt pulse, 80-watt pulse. They're trying to build a Squonk mod, 80 watts, regulated, and they kind of stole that design. I don't agree with that. I don't think anybody would. But as a consumer, I think that like the fact that it's a dual 18650, and it looks like it's basically the same size as say the 80-watt pulse is coming out, and you're wanting that kind of like that feel, but you're trying to like you're wanting the gene chip and all that jazz. I think the drag is a good option. I hate the fact that they're kind of like going through kind of like a whole thing. And again, I want to state that I stand with Tony B in the concept of I don't think it's the right practice that they did, and I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
I'm actually gonna say this. Let me go ahead and pull me
Go
up
ahead and
real
say.
quick.
Go
All
ahead
right.
and say.
So I don't think it's the right practice. I don't think they should have done it. But separating ourselves in the vaping community is just going to do more damage than good.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Here's why. First off, if we're fighting amongst each other, then what has the community gone to? It's gone to shit.
Exactly.
Because everybody's like,
Exactly.
oh, let's stand with this person, let's stand with this person. It's like, buy the fucking mod you want and get the fuck over it. You
Well,
really think
it's
Boycott
how.
and Vupu's gonna do a lot of damage? There's a lot of people that still stand by their products.
And that's the thing. We don't have a lot of companies that cater to the vaping community. We have a couple. We have a handful, as well as anybody knows. And I think that becomes a problem. I mean, it's not a problem, but it's just something we have to deal with. And I think that if we stand with a certain situation because of bad business practice, again, I don't want to promote bad business practice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't agree with what they did, and I want to put that like front and foremost. I don't agree with what they did, but that being said, we don't have a lot of vaping quality vaping businesses that actually cater to us as a culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bupu, Smog, even though they have their problems, they cater to us. Um,
iJoy.
other iJoy. There's different companies that cater to us because we are. They make vaping devices that are on the fore and foremost of popularity in the vaping community. So that being said, do I agree with the business practice of Bupu? I don't, but I do say they made a good device with the drag. And I do. I feel for Tony B. I really do. But what does that do for me? Here's the problem. Here's the thing. The Bupu drag is out. That's
Been out
being
for
said.
quite some time now.
It has been. So, am I gonna deny a very good dual 18650 mod because they did some dirty dealings? No, I'm not going to because here's the thing. Tony B's design was really good, right? It was a good model mod, regardless of what it was. The thing was, they took that and they made a dual 18650 mod that was what is it? Is it 200 watt? Is it
No, it was
200 watt? I think it's 200
157
watts.
watt.
157 watt, regardless of which. They took a tool,
Still over 100
basically a
watts.
squonk mod. Right, exactly. Thing is, they took something that was going to be a squonk mod and they made a 157 watt or whatever have you version of it with a dual 18650. So I see where the problem is because of competitorship, because they didn't want to sell the gene chip. Now, how I feel about that is, yes, I don't really agree with the business practice, but they Tony B was able to take the Vandy Vape chip, which I think is a fantastic chip. I don't know if you all
Believe it or
agree with that,
not,
but I do agree with that.
there's a guy I watch. His name is Vaping with Twisted. Well, it's actually Vaping with Twisted 419, but it was Vaping with Twisted 420. And he had the
Right,
Gene Chip version with the Vandy Vape Pulse with the Gene Chip, and he also had the
right,
one with the Vandy Chip. And guess what? The Gene Chip already failed. It stopped reading
right,
atomizers.
and that's the thing. They're using their gene chip, which I think is a fantastic chip. Don't get me wrong about that. I'm not gonna be here to be that person to kind of compare gene chip to Vandy Vape chip. And but what I'm getting at is Tony B has the Vandy Vandy or Vandy Vape has a very good chip, right? We can both agree on that.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is here is since the situation, which I think is a bad situation because anybody could be either way on the fence on this. Because honestly, Vandy or Vupu could have handled this better because they could have done something where they could have done something with Vandy B or not Vandy B. What am I saying? Tony B. I'm sorry, with Tony B. I have been little thing. But anyway, that's neither here
He
nor there.
he was drinking.
I have been drinking, so let's put that in that context, so everybody knows where I'm at in this situation. But as a person, and this is how I feel about it. Tony B could have been a little bit more cautious, I guess, about how he done his business because honestly, when you put in the consideration that he put the design forward into a company that wasn't the one that was making his mod. Like Vandy Vape was making his mod. Vupu was the one making the chip. He divulged everything to Van or Vupu, and when Vupu basically screwed him over, I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, they screwed him over. He was able to take that and say, okay, we're going to use the Vandy Vape chip, and that's what we're going to go with. So we got to put that in context. The Vandy Vape chip is a fantastic chip. And this is what's being proven right now because the Gene chip is not performing as much as the Vandy Vape chip is in itself. The Vandy Vape chipset proves to be a better chipset as well as I mean that's just across the board. as of performance wise. So when you're putting that in the context, um, the Voodoo Drag is not even up to is a good dual 18650, but as in Squonk mods, the Vandy Vape is performing better. Can we both agree on that?
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Basically, yes, it is some shady dealings, but what we're all talking about in a generalized situation here is that yes, the Vandy Vape wanted, or not the Vandy Vape Pulse wanted to use the Gene chip, but their Vandy Vape chipset is not a bad
Well,
chip.
I do want to.
So
I do want to say something on Tony B. He was a
go
bit
ahead.
foolish when he did what he did.
Exactly, and I want to put that out there. I want to put that out there that he was foolish in his actions, but I want to put this in there. What Vupu did was dirty, but what Vandy or Tony B did, he shouldn't have pushed himself to another company when Vandy Vape was making his shit. Vandy Vape is the one that took stock into his reviewership, I guess is the best way to put it. This his knowledge. Vandy Vape took how do I put this investment into, and for him to go into another company and tell them all everything, I'm sorry, that seems a bit okay. If you're filling out a form, right? This is something like in general context. So let's put it this way: if you're filling out a form online, right, and they ask for your credit card information, do you give it? I'm asking. I mean, as you,
Well,
Caliber, would you give it?
no, I would actually proceed with caution.
Pursue caution. Exactly. That's my point right there. So when Vandy B, when Tony B, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Vandy B, but
Well, he's part of
that
Vandy
means
Vape, so why
Vandy.
not?
He's part of Vandy. Why not? Right, exactly. When Tony B, when he took the concept of wanting to do the gene chip, when they asked him for everything, basically like the doors. I mean, for crying out loud, he gave him the gosh dang freaking company that gave his signature. What do they call it? Resin, the resin doors. If they're asking for that information, what does it got to do with the chip? It has nothing to do with the
Well,
chip.
here's where I think he should have cut the deal off when they asked for more money.
Well, that's too. Well, that's business practice. You're gonna go in negotiation. This is where it should have been the first sign that he should have went just strictly with the Vandy Vape chipset, is because when they started broadcasting different uh, basically when they started going for different prices, upcharging him for this chipset, they for the gene chip, they should have realized they're trying to dick us over. Basically, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel for them, but that should have been the first sign when they're trying to dick you over is when they're trying to change the price of the gene chip. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying anything against Tony B. I love Tony B. I love the Vapor Trails channel. I think it's a fantastic channel. I think he's a great reviewer. That being said, I think the drag is also a good device. But he's the one that gave him the information. It was anybody else. It was nobody else. And I'm not trying to like cause beef between the vaping community. I'm just saying as personally, as a consumer, as somebody who has to buy the products itself, like I'm a person that also took the survey that the FDA issued, even though I think it was a bullshit freaking goddamn survey because it asked more about your goddamn freaking financial situation more so than the juice. And then also I also made a comment on the representatives for the Senate for which was came out later about the whole situation about us for the FDA as well. And I made a comment about how I was like, I've been vaping for so many years and why that actually makes a difference and blah, 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 blah about the flavoring situation. I've done all this because I believe in the vaping community as a whole. I believe in that as a good construct to try to stop smoking or any type of other tobacco or any tobacco product out there. I think vaping is key to get either a one a healthier choice or b that it's going to help you quit. And I think we all can agree on that.
Yes.
What I, what I'm getting at is I'm that kind of person that I'm going to do the surveys or comments that is necessary to prove to the government that there is. So that being said, I'm going to go on the side of I'm gonna say that it's wrong for what Vupu did because I don't think it's right as a like as somebody in the vaping community. I don't think anybody should go against anybody in the vaping community. Like I wouldn't go against you. I wouldn't go against anybody that's watched this channel. But because I think we're all like in a brotherhood, if that makes sense. I think we're all in our brotherhood because we're all connected because we are all vapors. But that being said, just because Vupu came out with a device that is similar, but not the same, because granted, there's a lot of similarities between the drag and the 80 watt pulse that's coming out. I think the pulse is a whole different monster in itself. Do you agree?
Yeah.
It's a dual 18650 against the Squonk. There's no comparison. I think the Squonk is going to have it in the squonking aspect of it all, and the pulse or the drag is going to have in the dual 18650 realm. Me myself, I use a here's two devices I use. And I'll show this right off the bat. I have the G box for my squonking capabilities, and I have the mag for my freaking dual 18650 needs. Granted, I know there's a lot of problems with the mag, which I addressed in other videos, but there's still a difference between the two applications. That's why I have both. Same thing with the pulse and the 80 watt pulses coming out, and also the drag as well. There are two different devices, and you do need both of them, especially if you're getting into the realm of vaping, if you know what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I didn't mean to. I want to put in this video that I'm sorry that I took a lot of the majority of the time. I wanted to put that out there because I don't want people to feel bad for wanting to get a drag, even though they want to stand with Tony B too. I stand with Tony B with the fact that it was a bad move on drag, but I want to put in the fact that as a consumer, the drag is not a bad idea, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what I want to kind of
I
get
think
at.
we pretty much said all we needed to say.
Exactly.
Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to him. His is S13 underscore the Beast, and hers is Tarot Storm. Anyways, guys, this is the Storm Family signing out.